Welcome back, YouTube. This is Chris, and with this episode, we are continuing with the saga of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's a trading card game. This episode, we're going to do a little bit of deck construction, just a little bit of tips, and a little bit of input. I'm going to be focusing on, once again, the Dark Magician deck, mainly because it has a lot of different examples of how it can be created, and just also create a general baseline of for anyone who's kind of still confused, how to put together a deck. There's no such thing as a perfect deck, so never worry about that. Decks are always changing, they're always evolving, they're always getting more support cards or different themes. And, like, for example, what was it? I think it was Gaia the Fierce Knight also has, other cards based off of him. And same with his fusion monster form with Cursed Dragon. That card also has a new updated scale. And so we're going to get started. Over here you can also see, I'm going to try to do this a little bit differently. Try to zoom in a little bit here. So as you can see, I kind of lined it out a little bit just so I could kind of go over some stuff. So at the top are the two cards that are pretty much cards you can get special summoned onto the field. So we're not really going to worry about those two cards too much. Just to get everyone started, a deck is supposed to contain no less than 40 cards. Unless, of course, you're playing with Duel Links, which is 20 to 30 cards. Dual Generation actually can have 40 to 60 cards, as I've been kind of playing. For this one, I'm going to stick with the general 40 card minimum. People are going to ask me why. Well, for the most part, for those of you who are familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Or familiar at least with this deck format, Dark Magicians or Spellcasters in general usually base around strategy and magic or spell cards, whatever you want to call them. So they say you're supposed to have 20 monsters, 10 traps, 10 spells initially. You can say you can have up to 40 or 60. I used to do 60 a lot, but I will tell you why it is a bad idea. It's pretty much, it gives you less of a chance to draw the card you actually need when you need it, which I learned the hard way for many years, until probably about 3 years ago, when I revamped myself into it, started doing, the whole synchro summoning, XZ summoning, which again, we will get into in later episodes. For right now, we're going to keep it simple. So let's see, we have on the top, we have 3 Dark Magicians and 1 Dark Magician of Chaos. Now, Dark Magician of Chaos comes in 2 forms. It comes in a normal card, and it also comes in a ritual card, which was its original form. Then you also, which are all high levels. You want to have at least 3 to 5 high level monsters in your deck as a basis. It's kind of like you want to theme it out. So the Dark Magician's theme is Dark Magicians. So you also have Dark Magician Girl in the middle. As you can see, she has 3 different, she has way more than that, but just 3 different versions of her, which I'm not going to use all 3. Then you have on the upper right, you have the 2 support cards, which are kind of from like the revamped series and the movie actually. So I still got to get familiar with these because I haven't really used these too much, even though I have them in my actual revamped deck. So this is Magician's Rod. As you can see, it's the rod of the Dark Magician. Same with Magician's Robe. It's the attire for the Dark Magician. Each of them come with their own effects. You want to try to incorporate cards in your deck that are going to work well with each other, let alone off each other. And if a card doesn't work, get rid of it. Even though it might fit the theme, it might look cool, whatever, you might like it, your favorite card. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not going to work unless you create a whole separate deck based around that card. So for Magician's Rod, what does it do? I forget. I know it brings... When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the Dark Magician in its text. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card or effect while this card is in your graveyard, or if your opponent does, except during the damage step, you contribute one spellcaster monster. Add this card to your hand. You can only... Okay, so it's kind of like a revolving door with this one. Same with the robe. It's a quick spell, so you can discard... I think I used this in the last episode. You can discard one spell trap, special summon one Dark Magician from your deck. Okay, so we did go over this. So again, this is good for bringing out, again, like your top ace card. So you want to base, your cards around that. Again, they say you should have around 20 monsters. It could be less than that. I'm going to be doing the 40 card minimum. So for the lower card monsters, we have the original Gemini Elf. We also have a lot of level 4 monsters because his deck really didn't contain anything lower than, I think, a level 3, right? I'm trying to rethink about Yugi's actual deck. Aside from Yugioh. Don't bite my head off. Anyway, so most of these cards you want to be able to summon, and you want them to have decent effects or powerful attacks. It's not a dragon deck, so dragon decks mainly focused on overwhelming your opponent with high attack points and powerful trap cards. Again, for spellcasters, it's more based on magic, a little bit of traps, but again, mainly magic and combinations thereof. So on the far left, you'll see I have the magic and trap cards. We'll get into those in a minute. You have 3 skilled Dark Magicians, which in the last video I explained their ability. Once you use a spell card, they gain a counter. After gaining 3 counters, you can sacrifice them and special summon Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. We have Breaker. I actually like Breaker. I wish I had him in super rare. Anyway, Breaker the Magical Warrior. His effect, his attack and defense are pretty adequate for his level. If this card is normal summon, place 1 spell counter on it. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on this card. You can remove 1 spell counter from this card, then target 1 spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. So it's good to kind of get rid of opponents' face down cards. God forbid, like you finally are able to get your strategy going. They activate, or they set down a trap and you kind of think it's a trap. You could summon him, remove the counter, and kind of avoid any possible comebacks. You have Rapid Fire Magician, which all these cards I may not actually use in the end in the actual deck, but I just want to go over what you want to look for with effects, attack, defense, capabilities, all that stuff. When this card is face up on the field, inflict 400 points of damage to your opponent each time you activate a normal spell card. So you got to read these. So a normal spell card, which means any kind of card that's going to be used and go straight to the graveyard, is pretty much a normal spell card. Unless it's an equip card, which of course stays on the field. The quick plays, which can be set or be activated from your hand. Continuous, which again stay on the field. Field spells stay on the field. And so again, whenever you use stuff like, as you can see, Dark Magic Curtain is a spell card, and its ability is to cut your life points in half to special summon Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. But that's actually more or less a better effect when you don't really have that many life points. It's kind of like a last-ditch effort, unless you're using... forget the spell card. I just had it in my head because it's somewhere on the side. But anyway, so we have the Copycat, which again, you can copy your opponent's attack and defense. Mystical Elf, who pretty much would be like a defensive card, only because, yet again, she only has 2,000 defense, and if I can just get this to stop being a dick, there we go, 800 attack points. So obviously you would use her just as a defensive card. We have, what else do we have here? Herald of Creation. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card from your hand, so 1 card, doesn't matter what it is, to add 1 level 7 or higher monster from your graveyard to your hand. So God forbid you lose your high level monsters, you can summon her, activate her ability, and bring your strong monster that was sent to the graveyard right back to your hand in order to give it another chance. Mystical Beast Cerberus, again, we went over this I think in the last episode. Each time a spell card is activated, is it spell or any spell? when you or your opponent activates one spell card. Okay, so it has to be a spell card. All right. Same thing with Royal Magic Library. You get 3 counters. You remove them and you can draw 1 card. So that's kind of good for... It's good for defense, and it's also good to gain another card. Because again, you want to draw the cards you want as soon as possible. And because it's a 40 card minimum, you have 39 cards in your way. So the less you have, or, you know, the minimum that you have, the better. We have Absolute Crusader, which if a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned, tribute this face-up card, destroy that level 5 monster. So he's kind of just like a kamikaze. But he's good to have. I mean, I've never used him in a Magician deck yet because he's a warrior, but we'll see. Then you have Big Shield Gardna and Maiden of Macrobee. So again, these are powerful defense or powerful attack. You want to have cards that you can summon right away, and you want to have an even flow of them as well. So this is obviously more than 20 cards, let alone like in monsters. I believe 2, 4, 5, so it's like 27 cards. So I'm obviously not going to use every single monster that I've shown. So let's get these. Alright, so for monsters, I guess, so let's go with the 20. So 20 monsters, that means I have to get rid of 7. Alright, so I've never used these guys, so I'm just not going to. So that's 2, so now we have 5 more cards we need to get rid of. I don't really care for Mystical Beast Cerberus as much as I used to. So that's 3, so now we need 4 more cards out. We'll take 1 Skilled Magician out. 1. Just 1. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 3 more cards out of the way. So let's get rid of... I don't want to get rid of like the original Dark Magician Girl. Alright, we'll get rid of this one, because I really don't care for her pose. It's too, like, cheerleadish and stupid. Anyway, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. So now we need 2 more cards out of the monster pit. So what should we do? That's good to revive. You always want a card that can bring a card back from a graveyard. You want a card that can inflict a good ability. You want a card that plays well with others. You want a good card for defense. You want good cards for strength. Alright. Alright, we'll get rid... It's an original, but we'll get rid of Mystical Elf only because we have Royal Magic Library, and with its ability, at least it'll help you draw another card. So, that's 6. We need 1 more monster removed. So... Alright, you know what? We'll get rid of Timaeus. If you guys don't remember, Legendary Knight Timaeus, and it can only be special summoned by using the spell card, whatever it is. I have it in here in the magic. Anyway, so we'll get rid of that. So there you go. So now we're really just gonna focus legitimately on the Dark Magician instead of, you know, all like the side support cards. So now you're gonna want 10 traps. I already have my traps that I'm gonna use. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm okay with that. That gives me more magic cards to play with. I'm going to be using, for example, Shadow Spell. It's a continuous trap. It negates your opponent's attack and also allows your allows their monster to not attack and minuses their attack points by 700 points. So it's definitely good to have as a counter. Life Force Sword is an original trap card that Yugi gets when he's on his journey with Taya, or date, I should say. Light Force Sword, it takes a random card in your opponent's hand and it banishes it for 2 turns, I believe, or something like that. Acid Trap Hole, when your opponent summon or sets a monster in defense position, you can activate this card, flip that card face up, If that card's defense is 2,000 or less, it is automatically destroyed. We have Spike Shield with Chain. This is kind of like one of those random trap cards that becomes an equip card. So you would target one face-up monster on the field. Equip this target, it gains 500 attack. If the equipped monster attacks or is attacked while in defense position, it gains defense equal to its attack during damage calculation only. So it actually is pretty good. Now we have Spirit Barrier, which is again a continuous trap. As long as a monster remains on your side of the field, battle damage to the controller of this card becomes 0, which means you won't take any damage. Zoma is one of my favorites because it becomes a monster on the field, but also if it is destroyed, the opponent who destroyed it takes damage equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. And of course, Mirror Force. Whenever someone's monster attacks you, whether it's high in level or attack, or they have multiple monsters, this is good because it just pretty much destroys all your opponent's attack position monsters. Not defense position, but all attack position monsters. So they will survive if they are in defense position. So there we go. I know they aren't Dark Magician type trap cards. Again, those are in my advanced deck. This is just kind of like a basic deck, and these are actually pretty good basics to have, especially since some of them actually are in Yugi's deck. So we have our trap cards. Next is the tricky part, because Magic, there's so freaking many Magic cards for this. And just for example, because those are all copies, I will show you my advanced deck, because it also uses Synchro and, well, not Synchro, it uses Xyz monsters. So, obviously, I had to put my legit copy of Slifer. I also have his, what is it, limited edition or unlimited? I don't know, whatever. His other artwork form. Dark Illusion is good to have. It negates the activation of a spell or trap card or effect monster's effect that targets a face-up dark monster. So obviously all our monsters are pretty much dark because they're all spellcasters. Except for some who are light magicians, and destroy that card. So you pretty much negate it. This is a field spell, Sorcerer's Spell Wall. All monsters you control gain 300 attack during your turn. All monsters you control gain 300 defense during your opponent's turn. So it swaps. Lorce's Gemini Elf, one of my favorite cards. Trans, the Magic Swordsman. Level 6, so he only needs one monster to summon him to the field. Normal monster, 2,600 attack points, only 200 defense, unfortunately. Dark Magic Attack. See, now I will not have this in this deck, or at least I don't think I will. Maybe I will. I don't know. But it is a specific Dark Magician card. You can only activate it while you have a face-up Dark Magician on your side of the field. Destroy all spell and trap cards on your opponent's side of the field. So obviously it obliterates everything. Magical Dimension is a very, very, very powerful magic card. It is a quick play. Pretty much, you can activate this card while there is a face-up spellcaster type monster on your side of the field. Tribute that one monster. Special summon one spellcaster type monster from your hand. Then you can destroy one monster on the field. So aside from pretty much negating an attack, you can sacrifice your monster, special summon your strong one, destroy his card, and still attack him and do damage. So it is a very powerful, very, very powerful magic card. Spellbinding Circle is everyone's favorite. Pretty much, it negates attacks and prevents their monster from attacking is the bottom line of all that text. And again, like I said, there are trap cards for Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl that I don't have copies of, so I'm keeping them in their advanced deck. So special summon one Dark Magician from your hand, then special summon one level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck. If you control Dark Magician, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target one face-up spell or trap your opponent controls. It has its effects negated till the end of the turn. So it definitely has multiple effects. This is the card I was talking about. Spell Economics. It is a continuous, thank God, it's a continuous spell card. But you do not have to pay life points to activate spell cards. Yeah. Which is awesome for Dark Magic Curtain, because this actually I'm not that black. This asks you to sacrifice half of your life points. So now you don't have to sacrifice half your life points. Pretty genius, huh? Then you have the Eye of Timaeus. Monster Reborn. I put Fairy Meteor Crush because I love being able to do damage to monsters in defense position. And that's pretty much what this equip card allows you to do. Trap Jammer is a good one. When your opponent activates a trap card during the battle phase, negate the activation if you do destroy it. Again, it's a counter trap, so you have to wait. Royal Surrender is another counter trap. You can activate this card when your opponent activates a continuous trap card. Negate the activation and effect of the card and destroy it. Sage's Stone is everyone's also favorite magic card for the Dark Magician series because you can special summon a Dark Magician if you have Dark Magician Girl. Now you have Magic Cylinder, which is one of my favorite trap cards. You know, so pretty much what it does is when your opponent attacks you, you negate their attack, send it right back at them, and they inflict damage equal to its attack. Malevolent Nuzzler is a pretty interesting equip card that kind of is underrated, even though it's actually very, very powerful. It pretty much gives your monster 700 attack points. And if it goes to the graveyard, you can pay 500 life points to have it placed back to the top of your deck. Then you have Magician's Defense. While you control a spellcaster type monster, any damage you take is halved, which is good. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one spellcaster type monster in the graveyard, special summon it. And one of my favorites, again, is Swords of Revealing Light. We also have Apprentice Illusion Magician, which is more in the structure decks and the later series, or, you know, like the movie, the updated series of Yugi's deck. And it's pretty much like Dark Magician Girl, and I think she's a little bit prettier. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. So she has multiple effects, and is just very versatile. During damage calculation, if another Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monsters, this activates as a quick effect. You can send this card from your hand to your or face up on the field to the graveyard. That monster you control gains 200 attack and defense during the damage calculation only. So obviously there are more that I'm not going to get into because I want to get this video continued. Again, this is my favorite card in this deck though, which would be the Change of Heart. Nice and hollow, nice and protected. My friend's been trying to get it off of me for years. See, we have all these updated cards that sometimes people just don't know where to start. But honestly, the best way to start is with the basics. Oh my god. Knocking cameras around and shit. It's going to be one of my longer videos. It's going to take like 4 hours to upload. No, I'm just kidding. It takes a lot longer for my Kingdom Hearts videos or my video game videos to upload. Because, you know, it's going through like that processing scanner and it's like, oh, copyright, copyright, copyright. No, nothing's copyrighted. This is all me. All fucking me. Like, there are a bunch of videos that I posted earlier that I did a review on Pikachu, I Choose You, one of the latest Pokemon movies. And because I think it had like a little bit of the theme song, like the ending of it, like as it's like going back into the movie, it was like, oh, copyright. And I was like, oh, come on. But I was like talking over it. I was doing my review. I'm just kind of like going through it and kind of just like, oh, yeah, you know. And it blocked. But again, that's kind of what happens with a lot of people. Sometimes they don't know what to not post or not have on their posts. It's whatever. So for this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So obviously, we're not going to use all these. So we have our 20 monsters. We have our 7 trap cards for right now. That's obviously 27 out of 40, which means we only have 13 spell cards that we can choose from. So obviously, Dark Magic Curtain is going to be one of them because it brings out our Ace themed monster. Lightning Vortex. Discard one card from your hand. Destroy all face-up monsters you're on your opponent's side of the field. So this kind of, if it's a long shot, God forbid, you're in a place where you have nothing in your hand and you're just getting your ass kicked. Lightning Vortex is good to have. Maybe. We'll put it in the maybes. Actually, there, we'll put it in the maybes. So Gold Sarcophagus, banish one card from your deck. So any card you want from your deck. face up during your second standby phase after this card's activation. Add that card to your hand. So pretty much, you can add whatever cards you want to your hand in 2 turns. But you just got to banish it first. So that's going to go there. I'm actually going to take that because Yugi does use it. Magicians Unite. If you control 2 or more attack position spellcaster type monsters, target one of them. Its attack becomes 3,000. So Dark Magician Girl's attack can go from 2 to 3,000 if for some reason your Dark Magician's held up or something like that. So honestly, I'm going to put that in there. My gold card is so shiny, my gold sarcophagus, that it's like radiating on the bottom there. We have Double Spell, which I never really use. I have 2 copies of this. Discard 1 spell card, then target 1 spell card in your opponent's graveyard as this card's effect to resolution. Follow the target. No. See, it's too confusing. Sometimes cards are just too confusing. You want to keep it simple. You know, and Double Spell I felt like was always very complicated. I hated reading it. I hated trying to use it. I hated trying to incorporate it in my spellcaster deck. It was a mess. So I'm going to put the maybes like right here. How about that? Because I already know those are going in the deck. So we will do also Graceful Charity. So we have 3 cards. So now we have a 10 card limit. So Graceful Charity, you get to draw 3 cards, but you have to discard 2. So we'll put that in the maybe only because it's kind of like one of those like last ditch effort kind of things. Hammer Shot, Creature Swap. Okay, so let's go through and see what are good bases. Okay, so definitely Swords of Revealing Light because that keeps your opponent from attacking for 3 whole turns. Alright. Diffusion Wave Motion. You have to pay 1,000 life points. Select 1 level 7 or higher spellcaster type monster on your side of the field. During this turn only, the selected monster can attack all monsters on your opponent's side of the field. The effects of this destroy the selected monster in battle. See, that's again a maybe. I have that card in my advanced deck because I have Spell Economics, but Hammer Shot pretty much destroys any the 1 strongest monster on the field, which does include yours, so be careful when you use it. Again, last ditch effort, so I'm going to put that in the maybe. Creature Swap, Magical Mallet, Exchange, Dark Pendant. Obviously, Magical Dimension, that's a no doubt. We know this. Illusion Magic, I forget what this does. Tribute 1 spellcaster monster, add up to 2 copies of a Dark Magician from your deck or your... Why is this being stupid? Thank you. Okay, so we'll go with that. That helps you gain your monster back. Dark Magic Attack, 1,000 Knives. Dark Magic Inheritance. So let's see, how many is that so far? Let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. All right, so we're 1 off. We need 1 more card. So Magical Mallet allows you again to return cards to your deck and shuffle, but that kind of wastes a spot. Exchange, you don't really want your other player's card. Dark Pendant. Actually, you know, let's do an equip card. God forbid something needs a little bit more attack. So there you go. So you have equip. We got quick plays. We got special summons. We got instant attacks. We got quick plays. So I think that'll be good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle these all together and we're going to see how the first draw is. And then I'm going to show you how to, I guess, properly go through it. Alright, so we're going to put these together. Yes, I didn't take this bracelet off. I was doing community service today. It's helping some people's out. And they were like, oh, wear this green band so that people don't yell at you for coming inside. And I was like, phrasing, boom. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, alright, whatever. But I didn't take it off. It was the Leap in the Lake event today in Lake Hopakong, or at least for the Elks Lodge. Shout out to Elks Lodge. So you're gonna want to shuffle it real, obviously not like that, because you know. You want to break it up as best you can. Oh. It's the Mechanical Mayhem episodes with Tristan and Duke and Serenity versus, the robot in the virtual world and yada 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 yada. I hated when they went to the virtual world the first time. It was very, very annoying. So I hope this is helping you guys out, or at least you're enjoying the videos. I know my friend Mike from my clan, one of my clansmen, enjoys my videos, so thank you for that. And for always saying first comment, even though it really doesn't mean anything. If you want to be the first comment, that's cool, but like at least say something. You don't have to say first comment every time. You could just be like, hey, keep it up, or hey, good job. But whatever, he's cool. Good guy. So, but definitely let me know what's going on with you guys, how you guys are enjoying the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be doing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a little bit more, and then, still on my Kingdom Hearts. I gotta make my Kingdom Hearts video tonight, so I'm gonna be doing that as well. Alright, so let's see how we did. So I'm gonna kind of do it upside down. Well, actually not really. I'm gonna grab these like this. And I'm gonna put it right there. Alright, so this isn't gonna be a duel. It's just gonna be an example of like your hand or like what you're gonna do. So you're gonna grab it, say it was your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna grab 6 cards. Okay, so as you can see, we have mainly monsters and 1 trap, which is good. So in this case, you would set the trap card down. You would put out a good defense card for right now because you don't have any spells, so it's really not worth it to put him out and then try to use magic, or use him as magic, or use her, because there's no one in your graveyard. So your best bet would be set up a defense. You would place him face down. This card is good in case you attack directly. That way it negates the attack, or if he decides to replay his attack, which means after you've special summoned a monster, they can either choose to keep attacking or stop. So a replay attack would be that. So then you would change that, your draw next turn. Oh look, dark magic, and look at that. Alright, so in that case, let's do that. So what you would do is, let's try to make it a little... So since we already have a Dark Magician about to come out, let's get Rapid Fire Magician on the field, because whenever a spell card is activated, your opponent must take 400 points of damage, right? Yes, 400 points. So you would summon him to the field. I hate this. Why is this getting fuzzy? Why can't you just stay? Good, thank you. Next, you would activate this. You would cut your life points in half. You would inflict 400 onto your opponent. You would then go into your deck, look for a Dark Magician, put him on the field, do a short little shuffle whenever you go into your deck. Oh my freaking god. It's hard to do this from behind the camera. So, my apologies. It's too freaking annoying. Alright, cool. Okay, now because you have multiple copies of Dark Magician, you can go multiple ways. You can either use him to his advantage and wait until you gain the proper trap or magic cards to use because he's on the field, or what you can do is increase your chances of winning by also special summoning a monster. So with this card, Dark Eradicator Warlock, this card can only be special summoned when there's a Dark Magician on the field. You will sacrifice your Dark Magician to special summon this card to the field. It has 2500 attack and 21 defense. What's good about it is that whenever a spell card is activated, I don't know if it's, let's just double check. I'm going to, screw it. I'm going to read it from over here. Okay, while this card is face up on the field, inflict 1000 points of damage to your opponent's life points each time either player activates, a normal spell card. So you have to activate a normal spell card. And as you can see, he's obviously like an older version of the Dark Magician. So what you would do is you would say, hey, you know what? I tribute Dark Magician to special summon Dark Eradicator Warlock. Next, you got nothing else to do. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe, you know, he decides to try to attack your defense because he thinks it's weak. Nope, he takes battle damage because the attack has 2600 defense. So now, again, once again, it is your turn. You would draw a card. And again, this is just a basic demonstration. So we already got our ace card out at least once. We sacrificed him to special summon his older counterpart that also has a special ability. And with that, you can always use the spell card. Once you start using spell cards, or once you get another Dark Magician onto the field, pretty much all you have to do is activate spell cards, and your opponent's going to take life point damage on top of the fact that you'll make your monster stronger, or you'll just have a good proper battle back and forth. I love having good volleys because, you know, when you kind of just overpower your enemy, it's not really that much fun. You know, I like being able to think of strategies and whatnot. So again, thank you guys for tuning in this time. My video is getting a little bit long. It might cut me off. So I'm going to kind of end it right here since we did kind of touch on everything I wanted to go through. To all my clansmen who watched this video just out of curiosity, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Anyone else, please, please, please let me know how I am doing. I appreciate the feedback. And my next video will be for the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. It'll be the weekend evaluation. And hopefully you guys enjoy that too. And like I always say, may your hearts be your guiding keys. Until next time.